Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Let's do it.
Awesome. So today we're heading to the heart of New York City to explore a really cool part of its real estate scene. Those legendary NYC lofts. You know, the ones you see in movies with the exposed brick, the huge windows, and that kind of raw creative energy.
Oh, yeah. Definitely iconic spaces.
Yeah, absolutely. But from the sources you shared, it seems like there's a lot more to the story than just those beautiful spaces. We're going to look at what makes them so unique, but also what challenges they're facing in today's NYC. Like, how are they even surviving with the crazy real estate market there? And we'll see if we can figure out what the future holds for these spaces.
Sounds like a fascinating deep dive. There's definitely a lot to unpack when it comes to these lofts.
There is. So the sources mention some specific neighborhoods that are really hot right now for lofts. Williamsburg and East Williamsburg. They keep popping up. What's making these areas so attractive?
Well, they seem to be attracting the types of businesses and people who are usually drawn to lofts in the first place. They have that mix of artistic energy and that kind of industrial vibe.
Yeah.
You know, it's that sense of freedom and creativity that you don't always find in a traditional office space.
Ah, that makes sense. So we're talking like small startups, design studios, that kind of crowd.
Yeah, exactly. Those types of businesses really thrive in those environments. And these neighborhoods, at least for now, still have that authentic, less corporate feel. But of course, there's a big elephant in the room.
Oh, yeah. Rent.
You got it.
I mean, we all know New York City isn't exactly known for being affordable.
Uh-huh.
But what does that mean specifically for lofts, both for the people renting them and the landlords who own them?
Well, it's creating this interesting tension. On one hand, you have these creatives, artists, startups, who are drawn to that loft lifestyle, but they're getting priced out. It's becoming harder and harder for them to afford those spaces.
Yeah, I can see that. It's that classic tale, right? Artists make a place cool, then businesses move in, and suddenly it's too expensive for the artists to stay.
Mm-hmm. And then on the other side of the coin, you have the landlords. Rising costs are impacting them too. They have to think about their bottom line. And it might mean they start favoring businesses that can afford those higher rents, more traditional companies, maybe even larger corporations who see a loft space as a trendy, desirable location.
So it sounds like this is putting pressure on the whole artistic character of these loft spaces, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if the artists and smaller creatives can't afford them, what happens to that unique vibe that drew them there in the first place?
Yeah, that's a real concern. And while none of the sources suggested that it's a mass exodus of artists yet, it's something to watch. I mean, can a neighborhood hold on to that artistic character if the economic forces start to favor a different type of tenant?
It makes you wonder, how are landlords even finding tenants for these spaces in this evolving market? Are they still putting a for rent sign in the window, or is it all done differently now?
Yeah, things have definitely changed. Social media and online platforms, those are the new tools of the trade. They're how landlords are marketing lofts today. They can really showcase a space, highlight its unique features, and target very specific groups of potential renters.
So they can appeal to, say, a tech company looking for a cool workspace, or a fashion designer looking for that raw industrial aesthetic.
Right. It's about more than just square footage now. It's about creating a story around the loft, highlighting its history, its character, and showing how it can be the perfect backdrop for a business or a creative endeavor.
So it's like, come create the next big thing in this space where history and innovation collide, right?
Exactly. It's all about the story.
I love it. Okay, so we've talked about the high demand for these lofts, the challenges with rising costs, and how landlords are getting pretty creative with their marketing strategies. But taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture, where do you think NYC lofts fit in the future of the city? I mean, will they become a niche market? Or is there a way to balance the creative needs of tenants with the economic realities of living and working in a city like New York?
That's the million-dollar question. I mean, lofts are such a unique part of NYC. They kind of represent this ongoing push and pull between art and business, and they highlight how challenging it is to protect these unique spaces when economic pressures are so intense.
I mean, you have to wonder if there are ways to support the artists and creatives who are getting priced out.
Mhm.
Are there zoning regulations that could help, or maybe tax incentives for landlords who rent to artists?
Those are really good points, and I think it's something cities all over the world are grappling with. They have to find a balance to allow creativity to thrive without pricing out the very people who make a place so unique.
Yeah, definitely. Looking back at all of this, it's clear that the story of NYC lofts is far from over. It's still being written.
Yeah, it's constantly evolving.
And for me, the biggest takeaway is the question of whether those neighborhoods can really maintain their artistic soul as the real estate landscape changes around them. It's something we all have to consider, and I think it goes beyond just lofts. It really speaks to the heart of what makes a city a vibrant and inspiring place to live. So listeners, we want to hear from you. Do you think cities like New York can hold on to their artistic character even as they become more expensive? What can be done to support those creatives who are struggling to afford to live and work in these amazing spaces? Let's keep this conversation going.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Catch you on the next one.
See you then.